Hey guys, welcome to my new October horror movies spotlight, where I'm basically going over some of my favorite films in my movie collection. And as you know, my last video in this series, basically I talked about psycho slasher films, which, as you all know, if you've seen it, there weren't really a lot of movies that I had that time around. So this week, actually, for this video, I'm doing paranormal films and have quite a bit more compared to last time. Not a huge amount, but still a lot more than I have in my last video. So let's get started, all right, guys? But also, one more thing before that. Again, if you like my video, like it, subscribe to my channel so you can keep on, on top of everything that I got going on. My short film is pretty much done, or 99.9% done in post, so I'll be putting that up on the internet very soon. I'll let you know more about that as the weeks come on. And yeah, and as long with as in addition to that, can't even speak. I'm going to be doing a new series of videos to go along with my horror movie specials that I got for this month. All right, so I'll let you know a little bit more about that probably towards the end of this week, if not next week. So look out for that. And back to the movies. All right, guys. So what I got first here is this film called The Awakening with Rebecca Hall. I really like this movie a lot. Basically, Rebecca Hall plays this, I believe she's a psychic detective or a spiritual detective of sorts, who goes to this boarding school, or all boys boarding school, to investigate some strange happenings with some paranormal stuff. And she begins to uncover rare instances where there was a more sinister activity that actually happened at the school. And through her encounters with strange things that have been happening around the boarding school, she begins to piece the clues together until she ultimately discovers what was really happening, or what really happened at the school. That kind of a belief, I remember, is what led to all the paranormal stuff happening at the boarding school in the first place. I really love this movie. Liked a lot of the still shots, wide angles. There was even though there wasn't a lot of uh, background music to accompany a lot of scenes, but there was a lot of really nice ambient, background noise going around that really added to the whole atmosphere, the whole creepy nature of the boarding house, and just seeing Rebecca Hall's character wander around and try to, figure out what's going on. So I really, really love this movie a lot, and I definitely recommend you guys to check this one out if you haven't done so. The next film that I have to show you is the Evil Dead remake, and I have to say that I was completely surprised by how well this movie turned out to be. I remember watching the original once before I actually saw this remake, and again the original had its moments. It was campy, it was kind of cheesy, and was low budget, but it was Sam Raimi's first film that he put together, but he made it work so well in terms of putting together all the paranormal and creepy demonic stuff together, making it work. Bruce Campbell was a hoot seeing in there. His performance was a lot of fun. But this film, the remake, I was completely floored by how well it was done. It was really creepy. It kept to the mood of the original film, with, of course, some added special effects and an updating of the original story. But the original location, well, not the original locations, but the places that they chose to mimic the spots from the original film were spot on, or almost identical. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did go back to using the same old cabin in the woods to do the remake. But again, the amount of effects, the amount of gore and blood in this film was really surprising. There was a gratuitous amount, but seeing the nature of the film and what it was about, it was definitely well worth, and it was needed in order to be able to pull off the entire feel of it. And again, it was such a great film. I loved it a lot. I loved the original. I didn't get to see the second one. Hopefully I get to see the second one as well. But this remake was really spot on. It was really good. Surprised me to hell, how good it was. But definitely, I say check this out if you haven't done so already. The next film that I have to show you, it falls under paranormal, but I say it also might fall even under maybe zombie-ish type genre as well. And it's John Carpenter's The Fog. And now I say the reason why it kind of falls, under both is, on the latter, zombie-ish. I mean, the pirates, could be considered zombie-ish in their nature. They come back and they hunt down, the people of the small town. I forgot the small town. Where was small town? Is it even here? Antonio Bay. Should have remembered that one, man. Antonio Bay. But anyway, again, that's my reasoning for saying that it could also belong under the zombie. But paranormal, again, is because the whole movie is about a paranormal force that comes back to Antonio Bay because of a treaty that was done from during the time of the early settlers that landed on Antonio Bay, and how they were betrayed, and they come back as the pirates to seek revenge on those that did them wrong, and you know this movie, everyone pretty much knows what it's about, so you guys know what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But again, I really love this movie. Again, it's the background music, the setting, the ambient noises, which really come together to make this movie really work and just feel all that more scarier, and chilling. Like every time when you hear that loud banging background noise whenever the fog rolls into town, I always was cowering under the covers when I was a kid when I first saw this movie, and still even to this day when I watch it, every now and then, it still kind of sends chills down my spine, But again, it's because it's so good and it works. So again, definitely The Fog is something that you guys should add to your collection if you love this film. And again, it falls under paranormal as well as zombie stuff too. So Fog, guys. The next film that I have to show you is this movie called Mama, which is based on a short film of the same name. And it's where Guillermo del Toro basically took his idea, he just took the short film and just expanded it to I believe, a 2-hour film. And basically it's about these two little girls that were left abandoned on this cabin out in the woods somewhere when I believe I believe the mother was killed and the father managed to get away, although I think he was the killer. And he left the two daughters there, and the brother of the husband or the father is looking for the girls, and 5 years after the events he finds them, and the little girls are still alive, but they've been living on their own, surviving on their own, that they've kind of been reverted back to being very feral or animalistic in terms of nature, because that's the way they managed to survive. So they managed to bring the girls back to their home, and they're trying to get them to live a normal life again. But in the process of doing that, they end up discovering that something else came back with the little girls to the house. And as the story progresses, you realize that basically it's that paranormal entity that came back with them from the old house was what was keeping them alive out in the woods. So strange things start happening, and stuff happens. But overall, again, it was a really great movie. It was really creepy. Again, little kids running around being all creepy and stuff, because they, at some points, they kind of look like they're possessed. But again, it was such a great movie. They really pulled it off. It also has the original short film that Guillermo del Toro, based this full-length feature film on. And I have to say that the short film is just as scary, or if not even maybe a little bit more scarier than the actual full-length film. And I was surprised to find out that the short film was actually, I believe, a Spanish short film. So it was done in Spanish, I believe, unless I'm mistaken. No, but I think I'm correct now. It was in Spanish, but it was I would say maybe just a little bit more creepier than the actual full-length film. But overall, it's not taking away anything from the full-length feature itself. It's still very good, and I definitely recommend for anyone that hasn't watched it to watch Mama. It's really good. The next film that I have to show you is called The Possession, which is based on a true story according to the the subheading here. And basically it's about this husband and wife that are going through a divorce, and the main thing are the two daughters who are kind of like caught in between. That always seems to be the case with most of these splitting up films. There's always kids that end up being the ones that suffer the most, and in this case literally suffering the most. And basically it's about the one of the daughters, I believe, when she went to a garage fair, and she ends up finding this mysterious box, and the father ends up buying it. They take it home, and she starts playing with the box, and without her knowing, of course, she inadvertently releases a demon into the world, and it starts doing crazy stuff, and it starts possessing the little girl. So the family tries to figure out what happened and how to help their daughter. Once they figure out also that there's a demon behind it, they seek help. And I believe the demon is associated with Jewish religion, so they end up seeking a rabbi to try to help them to figure out, you know, the whole deal and try to help their daughter. But I really have to say that this was actually a really good film, and I really enjoyed this one a lot too. There's another film that came out, I believe, before this one that was on more or less almost a similar topic that I just can't remember what it was. Because it was very similar, again, a box, I believe, or it dealt with a family that inadvertently kind of caused the demon to kind of follow them back home. And no, it's not Paranormal Activity. It's something else entirely different. But I just can't remember what it was. And I'm not going to bother remembering it now because it's going to take forever. But overall, again, I really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I definitely recommend it too, you know, for anyone to watch, The Possession. The next film that I have to show you in my collection is actually a classic, and it's Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby. I mean, I've always heard about this movie. I know it's based on a book, and it's based on or filmed at an actual hotel in Midtown Manhattan. But I never actually got to see this movie until I bought it for myself and I saw it. And besides the fact that the restoration quality is amazing, even for I believe this movie came out during the late '60s. I have to say, yes, 1968. I have to say that the image quality, now that it was restored and or remastered for Blu-ray, looks amazing. The sound quality is equally as amazing as the image quality. And I have to say that the story was really, really creepy, and I really loved this one a lot. You know, and it's basically about Mia Farrow's character and her husband that move into this hotel, and throughout the film, you know, she's trying to have a baby, but there are these questionable neighbors that start really becoming interested and kind of trying to guide Mia Farrow's character in terms of having a baby, and that she should have it, and that she should be doing these things to ensure that the baby comes out healthy or is born. And as sorry about that, guys, I don't know, cut off. You know the deal. Anyway, going back to Rosemary's Babies, you know, there are these creepy neighbors that start trying to get into, you know, Mia Farrow and her husband's business, and ultimately find out that they're actually demons that are trying to have, you know, Satan's son, I believe, or Satan's child be born and brought into this world, and it's being done through Mia Farrow's baby. So there's a lot of creepy stuff that happens in this movie. I know I probably gave away most of what this movie is about, but I mean, this movie's a classic. I'm sure that a lot of you have seen it already. So here's again just one more new fan, you know, having to have his 2 cents about a movie that is new to him. So again, I love this one a lot, and it's definitely something that everyone should have in their collection. So definitely, and if you haven't seen it, see it. If you have seen it, it's definitely worth another watch. Rosemary's Baby. The next movie that I have to show you is the film Silent House with Elizabeth Olsen. I'm trying to remember a little bit about this film. I think it's about this woman who's played by Elizabeth Olsen, who he and her father move into this old house that I think used to be theirs. And, you know, they move in there and they have his brother, the father's brother, come with them. And they're moving stuff into the house, but they start noticing that strange things are happening that seem to be centered around the daughter, if I remember correctly. And the movie progresses with more things being discovered, ultimately to leading to an interesting twist by the end of the film, which I'm not going to say because I don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen this particular movie. But I have to say that, you know, it was really, really done. I liked the way the story behind it. I thought it was really creepy. And one of the most interesting aspects of the film is the fact that it was actually shot as one continuous take throughout the entire movie. At least that's the claim. But in reality, I mean, you can kind of notice maybe where some of the cuts or the breaks were done. But each particular shot was a really long, you know, done sequence. But overall, I mean, it was really good. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. You know, it was a lot of fun, you know, to experience and just see how the story plays out. And even the twist was actually pretty interesting. I wasn't actually expecting it to go that way. I was expecting something else entirely different. But, you know, what it ended up being was actually just as good, you know, if not better than what I originally thought. So definitely, I say check out Silent House if you haven't done so. And the last film that I have to show you here for this particular video is the film Sinister, that was also done by the same people that brought you Paranormal Activity and Insidious. I have to say this movie was creepy to the bone. I mean, Especially from the fact that, what happens in this film happens to the children. Um, it's really creepy to see, kids behave in this manner. And it's not, it's through possession again, but still the stuff that the demonic possession was having the children do was just really outright scary and just creepy. There were even some moments where, there were certain shots where you thought there was nothing in the background, and things kind of just jump out right in either behind or in front of the main character that's in the shot, and you're like, oh my god, wow, it's just, whoa. That was kind of creeps in there, but it works so well. Again, the creepiness factor of this film was just so good. And as a matter of fact, this is the movie that I actually wanted to talk about as a comparison to The Possession, because again, it's about a family, and it has kids, and there's a demonic possession. And I believe the delivery system, right? Delivery system that was used for the demon is almost similar. I mean, in the other movie, The Possession, it was a box. This one, it's a bunch of old films inside a box. So, but still, it was the same thing. And both movies have their positive points too. But it's just that they're totally. I would still consider them to be totally different movies in terms of just the level of creepiness in there. And this one, I would say, is a notch higher than The Possession in terms of creepiness, just because of what happens, and especially towards the end. I mean, you're just left thinking, oh my goodness, wow. I don't think I want to be in a situation like that at all whatsoever, So, but it just goes to show at how well it worked. And I believe this movie had Ethan Hawke in it. Yes, it does. It does have It was with Ethan Hawke, and he did a great job, portraying the father of the family, trying to figure out what's going on at the same time as trying to protect his family and his kids. But all this stuff is happening, and it's just spiraling out of control, and he's just caught up in the whirlwind in between. But it's amazing. It was a really great film, and it's definitely something that I'd say you should check out if you haven't done so already, and just add to your collection too. It's just something you just want to hold on to and keep and just watch again and again. So definitely Sinister's up there, guys. So that's pretty much all that I have for my second video in my October horror movie spotlight series, going over paranormal films in my collection. So, I mean, I have a couple of others, but they weren't really up there as, compared to these. These right here, I consider to be the top ones that I enjoyed the most out of all the paranormal films that I've seen so far and have in my collection. I have seen Paranormal Activity #1. I just don't have it in my collection, but I really did like that one. I know that there were other ones that came out after. It's like a whole series, and I know it tells a continuing narrative in there that I think it actually goes backwards in terms of explaining the events leading up to the first film. But I mean, the first one's the only one I saw, and I really like that one. I haven't seen Insidious, but I heard that one was actually really good. And I know there's a couple of other films that fit the same genre that I'm aware of that I just haven't gotten a chance to actually see myself. But maybe next year I'll probably have those in my collection too, and I'll have them here to show you guys as part of my collection. So, well, that's pretty much it for this week, guys, in terms of my paranormal films. Next up is going to be creature monster films. So I have several of those as well, which should be pretty interesting and a lot of fun to see what I have there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So be on the lookout for that next video. And like I said before, I have another series of videos to go along with the theme of horror films. Slightly different media, but it still fits in there with horror. So I'll probably be releasing a new video on that very soon as well. So keep an eye out for those. And like I said, I'll be giving you more updates in terms of my short film, where I'm going to be posting it up and where you guys can check it out and all that stuff. So look out. And that's pretty much it, guys. All right, I'm kind of at a loss for words here. I don't know why. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, like it if you did. Subscribe to my channel, and see you guys out on the next one. All right. Peace out.